Good Shabbos. This week we start off with a new book and a new Parsha. It's Parsha Bamidbar. And it begins with God commanding Moses to take a census of the Jewish people. At the beginning of the Parsha reads, V'itchem yu ish l'mateh, ish rosh l'beis avosavhu. That take a man from every tribe, a man who is the head of his father's household. Now, the head of the household does not necessarily mean it's going to be the eldest. It might be. But the head of the household refers to the one who is the leader of the household. And as a matter of fact, the rabbis tell us that every one of us should consider ourselves the beginning of our future household. So in other words, everyone should consider themselves the head of how many ever people they could possibly influence. The reason the Torah uses the word Rosh is because the head is that part of the body that leads. Now in athletics, you know very well that oftentimes when you turn your head one way, the body just naturally flows that way. In spiritual terms, the same is absolutely true. If I'm going to be thinking positive thoughts, then that will lead my whole life in a positive way. If I'm thinking negative thoughts, they will go negative. If I'm thinking spiritual things, then I will uplift all those around me. And if I'm connecting with my most base desires, that's where I will flow as well. The rabbis tell us that the most important question any of us could ask is, what am I living for? That question should dominate our entire lives. If we are asking ourselves, what am I living for? Then I will stay focused on the more important things in life. Life is a series of choices. And if we focus on what's most important most often, then we will accomplish marvelous things with our lives. But if we allow ourselves to be drifted off to the least important things, or we're just not staying focused, so then days can turn into weeks, which can turn into months and years, and a person can look back and with great regret say, I never really accomplished anything significant with my life. The Gemara tells the story of Rabbi Yochanan, who was a great man, who at the end of his life, when he was very ill, he had his family bring a ledger so he could look and examine how much charity he had given throughout his life. He calculated all that he had given, came out to 700 coins. And then he said, woe to me, look how little I've prepared myself for the next world. And immediately he gave half of whatever he had to charity. Even great people who've accomplished marvelous things with their life, have to remain focused in terms of what is most important. This week, we're going to observe the holiday of Shavuot. Shavuot is when we celebrate the fact that God revealed himself to the entire Jewish people at Mount Sinai and gave us our life's mission. The Torah is considered our instructions for living. Contained within Torah are the 613 commandments, the mitzvot, which are principles for attaining pleasure in one's life. I would encourage you to prepare at the beginning of the week for this marvelous holiday. Yes, at Young Israel Aish, even this year, we will be having classes going throughout the night and into the next days of Shavuot. But why don't you take a few minutes, print up some articles that you're going to read, get the right books, match yourself up with a study partner or two, so that you can have a meaningful holiday. I want to suggest that you learn through some of, if you could, all of the 613 commandments, so you really know, what does God want from you? See, when we're asking ourselves, when we're trying to live the most meaningful lives we can, we have to focus not only on what am I living for, but what does God want from me? And to make sure that we are elevating ourselves and everyone else to the highest levels possible. There's a story told about a man who is elderly and jealous and a little bitter, and he met up with a young Torah scholar. So as a way of putting down the young Torah scholar, he said, you know, I have great yichus, I have great pedigree, much better than you. Whereupon the young Torah scholar said, sir, it is true, you might have better yichus than me, but your yichus ends with you. My yichus, my pedigree, begins with me. Each and every one of us should understand that we are beginning anew as the head of our household, whether it's a physical family or it's just people that we wish to have a positive influence on. As the head of your family, What do you really wish to give them? What kind of direction do you want to set for your life and for the people around you? My name is Rabbi Yitz Wyne of Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. I want to thank you for being part of our community, and together we'll stay focused on bringing ourselves to a higher level of godliness and bringing more goodness into the world.